Welcome. Let's take a look at the big story this hour. In one of the longest convention acceptance speeches ever delivered, President Trump closed out the fourth and final day of the Republican National Convention with a promise to make America safer and stronger. President Donald Trump was introduced by his daughter and senior advisor Ivanka Trump on the stage, calling him the man who ran for the presidency to uplift America's workers. The President made a dramatic entrance from the South Portico to deliver a searing attack on former Vice President Joe Biden and his party. Trump sought to transform the 2020 race from a referendum on his presidency into a choice between two starkly different visions of America.
Joe Biden is not a savior of America's soul. He is the destroyer of America's jobs, and if given the chance, he will be the destroyer of American greatness. For 47 years, Joe Biden took the donations of blue-collar workers, gave them hugs and even kisses. And told them he felt their pain. And then he flew back to Washington and voted to ship our jobs to China and many other distant lands. Joe Biden spent his entire career outsourcing their dreams and the dreams of American workers, offshoring their jobs, opening their borders, and sending their sons and daughters to fight in endless foreign wars that never ended.
He did this in front of the place he called our beautiful and majestic White House as Trump-Pence signage filled the screens flanking the stage, with the presidential seal affixed to Trump's lectern, and he addressed a crowd of almost 1,500 people. The South Lawn speech had mostly maskless crowd, which broke into occasional 4 more years chants. Following Trump's closing remarks, the president was joined on stage by his family as fireworks went off over the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. We're being joined by William Denslow live from New York for more on this. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. Now, what we heard from Donald Trump last night in what can arguably be described as the most important speech was focused not on really the realities facing the U.S., including the Black Lives Matter protests, COVID-19, the huge economic issues, but rather his vision for the future.
Absolutely. The message from President Trump was he very much touting his successes over the past few years, looking at things like the economy. Of course, President Trump 4 years ago touted that he'd be the best jobs president that the United States had ever seen. He said that over the last few months, the United States had created 9 million jobs. However, critics are keen to point out that what the president omitted from that was the fact that more than 20 million jobs have been lost since the pandemic hit. He also touted things like trade deals, the renegotiated NAFTA trade agreement, for example, pulling out of TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, as reasons why American voters, why blue-collar voters, American workers should re-elect President Trump. He also touted his success when it came to the coronavirus. The president saying that the United States leads the way when it comes to rolling out a testing strategy, saying that he acted sooner than other nations would have done and other officials would have done when it came to closing borders for the likes of China as well as Europe. Also saying that Joe Biden, his challenger for November, opposed those policies. However, critics say that that is a vast exaggeration. Many have also pointed out that one thing that the US certainly does lead the way on in the United States is fatalities from COVID-19. More than 180,000 COVID-19 deaths in the United States. And some have pointed out that during the 4 days of the RNC, more people in the United States have lost their lives from COVID-19 than the attacks on 9/11.
Right. Another major focus of his speech was, of course, the continued Biden bashing and the scathing criticism of his lack of action throughout his decades in politics.
That's absolutely right. The president referred to his challenger, former Vice President Joe Biden, more than 40 times. In contrast, Joe Biden didn't mention Donald Trump by name once in his speech at the DNC the previous week. Now, President Trump described Joe Biden as seeking to demolish the American dream, stating that the Democrats under Joe Biden's leadership would unleash violent anarchism. Now, law and order was a key theme of President Trump's speech. He stated that in the left's backward view, and I quote, "They do not see America as the most free, just and exceptional nation on earth. Instead, they see a wicked nation that must be punished for its sins." Of course, the president very much responding to what we've recently seen in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the shooting of Jacob Blake. The president said that there will be strong law and order. He says that that is something that the Democrats under Joe Biden will not provide. He also touched on a theme that was consistent across the 4 days of the Republican National Convention, which is Republicans and critics of Joe Biden saying that he would merely act as a Trojan horse for what some have described as the radical left in the United States. The president saying this election will decide whether we can save the American dream, going on to say, or whether we'll allow a socialist agenda to demolish our cherished democracy. So that was a key theme touched upon by President Trump, really stating that a vote for Joe Biden will be a vote against America, essentially, as we know it.
William, thank you very much for helping us unpack day 4 of the RNC.